Hello everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Galerians. This is going to be part 3. And I have to be honest, I never expected this to be as challenging as it is, only because I have to cut every loading screen. And it's definitely a big challenge. I guess I should have thought this through before I started doing that. Because what happens is that I have to cut my sentences every time that there's a loading screen. And it's a bit annoying, but, you know, I guess it's a bit of a challenge. It's a bit different from the Parasite Eve playthrough that I did, so sometimes I have to get a little bit creative with the editing. But it's fine, you know, I'm managing. I enjoy the challenge, so, you know, I'll do that. Oh, we've never seen this before, by the way, because this is the first time that I inject myself with red. I figure that the theme of this episode is going to be us using red a little bit more, because there's a few tougher enemies that we're going to be encountering, and red is really good for those. So... but enough of that. So in any case, last time we start exploring the hospital, you know, as Rion, a young boy who was captured, and it seems like they were doing some experimentation on him. Go to this door first, before anything. There's just a few items around and also a cutscene.
Rion, where are you? Please help me, hurry.
Who are you? And why do I hear your voice in my mind?
Rion, where are you?
This is pretty much a jackpot room of sorts. There's so many items in here. There's a Nalcon, there's a red, there's 2 Delmators and 2 recovery items, I believe, and also a skip. Let me talk about skip in a little bit, but basically, we're Rion. And we're just figuring out a little bit more about our past, so we know that Clinic Chief Lem is the one that captured us and experimented on us. We had a little bit of an encounter with him over a giant TV screen. And we also found a little bit about our parents and about our family and about this girl that he seems to be looking for us, called Lilia. And we don't know who she is, but we don't know, you know, why we're here. We don't know what's happening, so we're just trying to get out and trying to escape this place, you know, just kind of escape from the grasp of the evil Clinic Chief Lem. So the last time what we did is that we put a password on the ID that allows us to get into the room that we just entered. So this will allow us to unlock the remaining half of the hospital. We're actually pretty much done. And we just have to get... Ooh. Yeah, you have to be really careful with these guys because they have... if you remember, I didn't get shot last time, I'm not sure, but basically what they do is that they have these shotguns, and as soon as they see you, they can shoot you. Oh, he's awake! What? Death to all of the shotgunners. So, I used skip just now. I think it's very important that you get that. That's why I recommend that you enter to that jackpot room before you proceed. Because we're going to have a few tough encounters later, and skip is really going to be useful. If you notice, my bar on the top right now says level 2. And you'll see what that's useful for. First of all, a cutscene. Okay, so this is our first encounter with one of these robotic android thingies. Courtesy of Clinic Chief Lem. But in any case, these robots are immune to red. So you have to use Nalcon, which is probably what you've been using for the most part throughout this section anyway. But having level 2 really helps, because what skip does is that it raises your level, like I said, right? Up to a max of 3. And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to charge a second level to it, which makes it a stronger blast. So what you can do is that you can either charge it halfway for it to be kind of like a shotgun effect, the way that you saw that I was fighting the other guys, the soldiers in the area. Or you can just charge it all the way, and it does just a bigger, more powerful blast. And I think it's done. Wait, hold on. Yeah, let me just heal, because there's a recovery capsule in this area, and I feel like I'm running a little bit tight on inventory space, so might as well just use one of them, right? So that wasn't too tough, you know, just have to move around. I also wanted to mention that if you recall from the last episode, if you saw it, I had my AP bar full, and, oops, sorry, a little bit of a blip there. But what happened is that I decided to not use my AP bar because I figured I did show short last time, and as you notice, you walk really slow, but it allows you to, you're pretty much invincible mode when you're in short status because it allows you to blow everybody's head off like nothing. And I feel like that may just make the game a little bit broken. And I mean, I just figure, you know, it makes the playthrough slower because I have to walk really slow clearing the room. And on top of that, it's not really fun because you can't really see anything that I'm doing. So I figure, let me just use up... They give you so many Delmators anyway that I figure, let me just use all these Delmators. And we'll just play legit, I guess. So in any case, the room that we went into, as you saw, we went down the stairs, and the rooms that I didn't go to, they're all locked. The ones on the left side of the screen, if you check the map. Those two rooms are, well, the top one isn't locked, but there's a puzzle in there that we have to complete. It's kind of like the main objective of this episode. We have to collect 4 statues that are on this level. So I figure there's really no reason for me to show that right now. You see just a few pictures of the characters that we've already heard about. Dr. Pascali, our parents, Lilia, of course, super important. The puzzle for this room, by the way, it's on the left computer first, sorry, the right one first, then the one on the left, and then the one in the middle. It doesn't change from playthroughs, just like the password from the ID. So if you remember that, and just make sure you grab the key that we need for later, and to unlock the room so that we can leave. I believe this is gonna be control room key, if I'm not mistaken, because we're gonna need that, yeah. So, and there's a red in the back here, so make sure that you grab that as well. Depending on how well you play, you might find yourself with a lot of items, so you just make sure you clear everything up. Okay, and here we have, from the file that we read last time, the game calls them rabbits. Doesn't really make much sense, I guess. They move really fast and they do tend to kind of jump around. This is the reason why I wanted to showcase red, because as you see, the way that it works is that it burns enemies. It's kind of like a damage over time effect. So it's really good with fleshy enemies because you can throw fire at them and they'll get stunned while taking damage, so while they're doing that you can charge again and just attack them. If I were to use Nalcom, this would not happen, they would not be stunned. So just take into consideration, you might want to use red for these enemies. You don't have to, but the game throws so many reds at you anyway, that might as well. So there's a lot of rooms in here. The one that I'm going to go to first is the one in the middle left. And make sure you enter here first. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it's important for the puzzle that we need to do, the one with the 4 statues. So it says snake, eagle, then we have a wolf, and finally we have a monkey. Everything is double-headed, as you can see. So it seems like it's some sort of like Aztec ancient symbols. You don't have to memorize it. You can, if you scan the panels, you can always tell the right order, but it helps, you know, just keep that in mind, that's how it works. So let me switch back to Nalcon, because these enemies are not worth using red on. So as you see, if I charge it very slightly, it does that shotgun effect. If you charge it all the way, then it does that giant blast. There's another key here that we need. There's about 3 keys in this area that we need to get, so that's why I'm going in this order. You don't have to, again, you can take your whichever order you prefer. I just wanted to show the more, I guess, optimized way, or the way that I prefer to do things. And yeah, as you can see, there's so many items around that that's also the other reason why I wanted to use Delmator. Because as you see right now, I have like 4 or 5, and the game throws so many items at you that, and as you know, as a standard survival horror game, you would expect that you have a limited inventory space. Although I know that games don't do that anymore, but some of them still do. So this is of course a game from the 90s, so you would expect that that's what they would do. And you just have to make sure that, like, you know, I just want to showcase where all the items are, and depending on, like I said, how good you are or how stingy you are with your own items, that you may want to use them up, or maybe just save them for later, because there's no storage coffin, kind of like in Resident Evil, so you can dump your extra items. Whatever you carry, that's what you take with you. And of course we want to avoid backtracking as much as possible, so that's the reason why I figured let me just use them up. There's no reason to. So let's just go back to the main hall because we have to continue with our exploration. And as you see, if you kill the rabbits, which I do recommend that you do, because they're definitely more annoying than these robots, what I would recommend is that... Oh, no, I don't need a... hold on, I forgot about what to do. That's okay, I'll figure it out. Because I have 2 keys already, but I think you have to use one of these keys for... Wait, no. Okay, just give me 1 second. So, if you kill the rabbits, which I do recommend... Oh, wait, no, go upstairs first. There we go. Oh, no, let me go. Oh. So, just try to stay a bit far away from these guys. I don't think I talked too much about these robots, sorry. But kind of keep on the move. Try to keep your distance and run around in a circle because they like to aim at you with their gun and then they shoot you with a laser. So try to avoid doing that as much as possible. So that's what I would recommend. For now, there's another room and another key that we need from up here. And then also another red, always very useful for these enemies. Let me show you. This is the doorway that we have to go through. This is what's going to take us out of this horrible place. And it doesn't really give you a clue as to what it's in there, but that's basically what's on the other side. So that's a little bit of a tease. That's where we have to go. We should be getting there by next episode, I'm pretty sure. This, as I was mentioning before, this is not a very long game, so we should be able to complete it in about the same number of episodes as Parasite Eve. And even then, the Parasite Eve playthrough was mostly people talking, and a lot of the episodes were that, just like, you know, story. Gameplay-wise, I think it might be a bit shorter. I'm gonna I mean, the episodes that I'm making are also shorter than Parasite Eve, so I think it should take a little bit, maybe a couple less episodes, I'm not sure. Because the game is comprised of 4 chapters, and this is the first one. So, as you can see, we're about 80% done with this place. We're almost done. Just be a little bit patient. Let's check this computer first. So as you can see, there's a record, or like a diary, of what's been done to Rion. So as you see, he was implanted with drugs over a course of several days, and you know, he was overdosed, and it seems that he went unconscious for a little bit, and then he just suddenly woke up and kind of bursted with power. He miraculously regained consciousness, and it makes a mention that the drugs are the reason why he lost his memory. That's why we don't know who we are or who anybody is. Maybe Lilia is important to us, we don't know that yet. She seems to know who we are. So, maybe she does, I don't know. We'll find out eventually. I know that the game gets a lot of complaints for their story, but I think it's a good story. It's just, I think what kills it is the voice acting, because it's not very good. It's very 90s. And as you remember, of course, the infamous Resident Evil voice acting is not particularly good. So I think that's what drags the story down. But overall, I think the story is very, very good. Like, you know, it's a strong, cohesive story that makes sense. And, you know, it has this dystopian society sort of feel to it. You know, it has powers, which is also interesting. So it kind of has a sci-fi feel to it, I would say. So now we finally have all the keys that we need. So this is the control room that I was trying to use the key on before. This is the real control room. This is where you have to go, but I recommend that you go here only after you get the research key that we just got upstairs. So just make sure you get that first. Otherwise you're gonna have to backtrack, and again, I hate backtracking. So, as I was mentioning before, we have to get 4 statues of animals, and that's what we need the keys for. So just make sure you grab everything that's in your way. We're gonna have to get 1 for each. So 1 for the snake, 1 for the eagle, 1 for the rabbit, and 1 for the rabbit. There's no rabbit statue. Rabbit is the enemies. The other ones are a wolf and a monkey. So we're gonna be getting those right now. And yes, I was saying, the story, everybody complains about it being really weak. As you saw, the buttons that we just pressed, they unlocked a couple of doors that we need. 1 from the very beginning, and then 1 from the room on the top left, the one that I was trying to use the key on. So we should be getting a few statues here. The first one is going to be through here. Let me just go ahead and open it with the research key. That should be no, there we go. Perfect. And a few enemies around. depending on your inventory space and to, you know, how many of each substance you may have, you may want to switch between Nalcon and Red. I personally... Nalcon is pretty much multi-purpose. You want to use it on everything. And it works on anybody. So, that's the one you want to use for the most part, but then at the same time consider that if you use it for everything, you're gonna run out of it. So you kind of want to... And it also works really well with skip, as you saw. You know, it's kind of like a magnum shot, pretty much, when you charge it all the way. And as I mentioned, I can go up to level 3. So, the problem, of course, is that you have to kind of balance all the drugs that you use, because otherwise you're gonna run out of Nalcon quickly. So you have to kind of use Red when you can. That's why I used it at the beginning, because I noticed that I had a couple of extra vials of Red. So I figured might as well mix, even though it's not optimal to use them on these guys because they're so weak. Okay, there we go. So this is our first statue. Perfect. That's what they look like. Or pedestal, I think that's what they're called. So that's the monkey, the first one that we're gonna get. And as I mentioned, there's a specific order in which you have to place them. We haven't been to that room yet, only because I want it to be as fast as possible. Oh no, I want this. I really want this skip. So I need to use something. Yeah, just use a Delmator, might as well. I still have a couple of extras, so I really shouldn't need more than 2 Delmators, I don't think. Because the way that it works is that the AP bar fills up gradually over time. So that kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you to rush through the... Oh, lagging. This has happened to me before. I don't know why. I have to take a look at my recording settings. It's like it's happened in the past. It happened to me with Parasite Eve, and I had to sometimes when this happened, I had to restart. But I'm looking at the time, and I already see that it's been over 16 minutes. So I don't want to. I don't want to redo the whole section again. I don't want to. But that's okay. So now, as you see, I use the third skip, and now I'm at level 3, which is the max. So it's kind of a high-risk, high-reward scenario, because you are really powerful now. But at the same time, it has a bit of a trick that if you were to lose your health below half, then you're gonna lose a level. So I have to be constantly healing myself and make sure that I'm always up to max health, just to make sure that I don't get randomly hit and lose the levels that I've gained, because, you know, once you use a skip as a consumable, it's gone forever. And they're in a bit of a limited supply. So I will recommend whatever skips you can get, make sure you grab them. And if you want to save them up, that's fine if you want the extra challenge. But if you're confident that you're not going to be able to take any damage, then that's fine. Like, you know, you see, that's the risk. That I might just get randomly hit by something. Because, you know, you're not perfect, so... Especially if it's your first playthrough, I would say, you know, just don't take the risk. Maybe keep the skip and wait until a big fight to use them. I also didn't mention that I don't recommend to fight these robots because they take up so much Nalcon to use. And this is not an advantageous situation for me anyway, because how am I gonna be able to fight 3 robots at the same time? I'm gonna get a lot of damage, and I'm gonna use a lot of Nalcon because they're immune to red. And if you remember, I only have 2 vials of red. Sorry, 2 vials of Nalcon, so if I use them on these guys, then I'm done for. And I'm gonna need it for later, definitely, so... I would say, I think that's a good tip for the game. Just make... Oh my god! Oh no, I just lost my level. No, I forgot about this guy. No, okay, you're gonna die now. Yeah, there we go. You're gonna die. For making me lose my level. Okay, fortunately I have an extra skip, so maybe I'll use that one before the next level, so... I would recommend make sure that you have at least 1 Nalcon with you at all times. But it's been a long enough episode, I think, so let me stop right now. We're gonna finish up the hospital, I'm positive, next time. But for now, I hope you enjoyed. Please look out for the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, enjoy.